Hey guys, it's Bridget here from Bridget's Little Hawaiian Kitchen, wishing you a wonderful, wonderful day. It's currently Sunday here in Hawaii. I know that in Sydney, back home, is Monday and it's around about 10 a.m. So if you are joining me live today from wherever you are in the world, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me. As I was saying, I'm coming live to you guys from Hawaii this morning. I am in the Hawaiian Islands for the next 4 days, and I thought I would do some cooking because why not, right? Because one of the things that, you know, when it comes to dining and it comes to eating when you're on holiday, we tend to let ourselves go a bit. But I want to show you guys that even if you are on holiday, you can still eat like a local, but eat exceptionally well. And it will require you to do a little bit of cooking, of course, but that's exciting too, because then you get to go to the markets as opposed to just going to the restaurant. So early this morning, Mahei and I, we went to the to a market here in Oahu, which is the main sort of island within the Hawaiian Island groups. Oahu has Honolulu, Waikiki, you know, all the places you're really familiar with. But we went very early this morning. We because it's like I said, it's Sunday morning here, so we went down to the market and we bought all this fresh produce so that we can do some cooking together. So if you're joining me this morning, welcome to my little Hawaiian kitchen. I'm currently sitting outside on my little deck, staying in the most beautiful little cottage where the ocean is literally across the road. Now the only reason I'm not showing you the ocean this morning is it's quite windy here in Oahu today, and we are on the east side of the island in a beautiful little spot. In fact, it's so beautiful. Mahei and I got married here 5 years ago. This year we got married here. It's called Waimanalo. Now Waimanalo is just sensational. It is gorgeous, and I hope to take you guys down to the beach very soon, because you know I've got 4 cooking classes coming up here from my little Hawaiian kitchen. Today is obviously number 1, and today we're going to be doing an amazing dish that is so Hawaiian it's almost ridiculous. You know, it's one of those dishes that is quintessential Hawaiian, so popular that this particular recipe that I'm going to be doing with you guys today has gone around the world. People around the world know this particular dish, and the dish we're doing today is my healthy poke bowl. So I'll explain everything to you guys in a little bit of a second, but I thought I would just start outside because I want to show you guys the mountains. You see those mountains in the back there? Do you see those mountains in the back there? You know you're in Waimanalo in Oahu when you see those mountains. The beach is 100 meters from me that way. The mountains are that way, and I'm in my little cottage here. Oh, I'm telling you, you need to see this to believe it. It is the most beautiful place in the world. So much so, as I was saying, Mahei and I decided this is the only place that we wanted to get married because it is sensational. So I'm a very lucky girl to be here in Waimanalo, be enjoying this incredible morning, this incredible day. Yes, it's a bit windy, but that's all right because we're going to go in the kitchen now. So join me as we go. Can we just see the beauty that's around me? Behind me is a little sort of a little Hawaiian style hut where you can hang out. And yes, if you're wondering, you can actually rent this little cottage, and I'll give you guys the details of how you can rent this cottage a little bit later because it is sensational. It is a 1-bedroom cottage. Let's go inside. It is a 1-bedroom cottage. Oh, that's a little bit quieter, isn't it? 1-bedroom cottage, really big lounge here with a pull-out sofa, so it can sleep up to 4. But it has, of course, I'm just going to open the door so you guys can kind of see what's going on in there. It's got this gorgeous little bit. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous little bedroom. But of course, one of the things that really impresses me, how good is the kitchen? The kitchen is so fabulous. There you go. There you go. But I decided that we're going to do some cooking classes from the kitchen today. So, what I thought I would do with you guys is I was saying we're going to do a poke salad. So, just to give you a bit of a background of what is poke. So, poke is the Japanese word for to cut or to dice. And you may not be aware if you've never been to the Hawaiian Islands, but if you have, you know that there is a massive Japanese influence here. Now, the Japanese have been coming to the Hawaiian Islands for, you know, 150, maybe even more years. Oh, hey, Mahei, throwing us the shocker. They've been coming to the Japanese, the Hawaiian Islands for such a long time, the Japanese. And the reason they were coming here many, many years ago is because it was a huge, big, almost like, you know, in Australia we had the gold rush, in New Zealand we had the gold rush, in Hawaii they had the sugar rush. So there was massive sugar plantations. They needed workers. The workers were coming from Japan and other parts of the world, not just Japan, but there was a huge influence of Japanese workers coming over to the Hawaiian Islands. So the Japanese influence here within the cuisine is pretty phenomenal. So what we're doing today is we're doing a poke salad. So a poke salad is, as I was saying, poke means to cut in Japanese, and we're going to be doing almost raw but a marinated salmon salad, and we're going to be mixing that with some amazing ingredients. I'm going to show you guys what it's all about, but we're doing something a little bit different. So traditionally, as you would imagine, being a cuisine that's very highly influenced by Asian cultures, not just Japanese but also Korean as well, Chinese as well here in Hawaii, there's a lot of white rice that is used, and you guys know that white rice isn't great. We shouldn't be having a lot of white rice, so I'm going to be replacing the white rice with another type of vegetable rice. We're going to be making poke. I'm going to show you guys how to make the most amazing poke. If you've seen a poke bar in your neighborhood, and chances are if you live like in a major city, and I'm talking like, you know, like Sydney, LA, you know, New York, San Francisco, you know, London, you would have seen a poke bar or a poke cafe or restaurant near you, and you've wondered, why, what is that poke stuff? Well, poke is Hawaiian with a Japanese influence, and it means basically a marinated raw fish. And you guys all know how good fish is in our diet. Fish is amazing, right? Fish means that we have good levels of omega-3, which is really, really good for us. It's really easy for our gut to digest as well. Really high in essential vitamins and minerals and all the things we need to stay healthy. And it's so simple to prepare, especially if you're doing a poke style bowl, which I'm doing today. So I'm going to pop you on the bench if that's okay, because I can't stand here and hold it where I'm chopping. So I'm going to pop you guys on the bench, and I'm just going to set it up. Oh, there we go. There's my chopping board. There, perfect. Can you see me? Yay, here I am. All right, so poke style bowl. As I was saying, poke means to cut, and it's raw fish. Well, it's kind of not, it's not really raw, it's kind of marinated. And so if you're like offended, I'm just squaring me out, there we go. If you're offended by something being raw, get over yourself. I mean that in the nicest possible way, but seriously, you need to try this. It is amazing and it tastes phenomenal. And oh, come closer to me, there we go. I wouldn't be suggesting this if it didn't taste good, because you guys know me, I lead with flavor. For me, it's all about flavor. If it doesn't have flavor, I'm not really that interested. This has flavor, it has personality, it has texture, it has all the things you could possibly want in a delicious dish. So if you are like, don't really do that raw stuff, get over yourself. This is all about you. This is all about giving you the most amazing experience food-wise, but also the most amazing experience once it gets into here, which is your gut. And we're here to heal your gut, aren't we? So give it a try. You know, just you don't know until you try. Remember that. If you've never tried it and you're like, I don't do that, how do you know? You've never tried it. So try it. I'm imploring you to try it because it's phenomenal. It is one of my favorite things. When we land here in the Hawaiian Islands in Oahu, the first thing we do is we get us some poke, because it's awesome. So, and it's good for you. All right, so here we go. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop ranting, because you know how I feel about it. I just think you should try it because it's delicious. All right, so poke. The poke that we're doing today, we're going to be doing a salmon poke. Poke can be made out of ideally any type of oily fish. So salmon, as you know, is an oily fish, really high in omega-3s, which means it's good for our brain health as well as our gut health. So you're making yourself smarter by eating this. There's one random fly. You're increasing your intelligence level by eating this dish. remember that. It's a pretty good thing. But you could, as well, instead of using salmon, you could also use another type of oily fish. And the most common one that it's used is ahi tuna, or tuna as we know it in other parts of the world. In Hawaii, it's known as ahi. And once again, it's a lovely oily fish. So I'm using salmon today. So the first thing I want to do is I want to marinate my salmon. Simple, easy to do. It's so easy to do. So in the fridge, I bought myself up. Remember I was at the market this morning? It was so exciting. Look what I found. Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't that stunning? Still got the skin intact as well, which is wonderful as well. I always like to buy my salmon fillet with the skin intact, because if I decide that I'm going to, which I'm going to do, is I'm going to make half of this into poke. The other half I'm actually going to cook. And I like to have the salmon skin on there when I cook my salmon, because the salmon, or the skin of any fish, helps to protect that really delicate flesh that you have underneath there, which is really important. So if you can always try, buy your fish skin attached. It's actually really easy to take off if you want to, but ideally you buy it skin intact. So I bought this at the market this morning here in Hawaii, and because it's a whole side of a salmon, quite a small one, so I know it's going to be very delicate. The first thing you need to do when you're looking at your salmon is you need to go ahead and you need to just run your fingers right along the middle of it. And what you're feeling for when you do that is you're making sure that there's no bones attached. And the bones are really easy to remove. I'll show you how to do it. So run your finger down there, and what I will find is that there are some bones just running down the length of the fish there. And I can feel them because they're kind of sticking up. So I'm going to show you guys how to remove those bones. Like I was saying, it's really easy. It's easy when you have, there it is, your little tweezers. Like literally, these are tweezers you would use for your eyebrows. But these are my kitchen tweezers. They've never been on my eyebrows, just in case you're wondering. They've never, because I have my own special pair of kitchen tweezers. And if you were now wondering if I travel with kitchen tweezers, yes I do. I am a weirdo. I also travel with my knife. You guys recognize that knife. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I've got my knife. I have my knife, I have my vegetable peeler, and I have my kitchen tweezers, just in case I need to do something like this. So run your fingers along the fillet of salmon, and you'll actually feel the bone sticking out. So you take your little tweezers just like that. Oh, just gotta show you how, oh, that was so easy. It didn't even happen when I was watching. Okay, try that again, so I can show you guys in real time. See? And then you pull at that bone. This is what we call a pin bone. That's a pin bone. And salmon is the most easy fish to bone, because you don't have to cut anything. You just get your little tweezers and you pull out these little pin bones, just like that. And you can literally feel them. They stick up. They're not hard to find. They're really easy to find, just like that. So all I'm doing is this is called pin boning salmon. This is a culinary technique. It was one of the first things I was allowed to do as an apprentice chef, was actually to take the bones out of the salmon using, they didn't look like that, but using a pair of tweezers. So now that I know I've got all the bones out, like I took a lot of these bones out earlier, the bones actually ran sort of right down to there, but just literally run your finger along, you will feel them, they'll stick out. I do notice that in Australia, a lot of the fillets that I buy have already been pin boned, but here in Hawaii, I actually need to go ahead and pin bone them myself. So now I've got my salmon there. I'm pretty happy with that. I know that all the bones are out. So all I need to do now is just to start to turn this into poke. Because remember what poke means? It means to dice or to chop. So I'm not going to be chopping all of this into poke, because as I was saying, I'm going to be cooking some of this a little bit later on. So I've got this lovely fillet. We're going to cut it in half, just like that. I'm going to be putting that little piece there, that gorgeous piece of salmon is going to go back into the fridge for later, which is really exciting, because you know we're going to be eating so well later on. And we're just going to deal with this piece here. So let me pop that there. Oh, see, feel slap when it goes down on the bench. Pretty cool, right? So with the salmon or the ahi tuna that you're going to be using for poke, the skin is actually not necessary. Now, I don't suggest for a second that you don't save the skin, because if you have an air fryer, what you can actually do, which is just brilliant, is you can pop that, just the skin. I'll show you how. So I'm just going to remove the skin. The easiest way to do it is just to cut off that piece there. So then I've got like a piece of skin that I can actually hold on to. Piece of skin I can hold on to, and then using my lovely sharp knife that I bought all the way from Australia, I'm just going to run my knife right along the base of the salmon. You guys can see that? And what I've then done is I've just removed that piece of skin there. It's actually really easy, especially if you've got a lovely sharp knife. So that skin there, I do not suggest for a second that you throw that away, because that is delicious snacks. Yeah, you can use it as snacks. So if you have an air fryer, pop that, or you could even make it into like smaller pieces. You could do this sort of like sort of size like that, yeah, and then pop that onto an air fryer rack, and then pop those bits of salmon skin into the air fryer. Cook them on 200 degrees. They'll take about 5 to 6 minutes, and you'll have crispy salmon skin as a snack, like better than potato chips, right? So do not throw away your skin. That's why I always buy it with skin. I don't have an air fryer, but I have an oven. You could also do it in the oven as well, and that would go onto a tray with baking parchment, and that would cook in the oven at 180 degrees, 200 degrees, which is 390 degrees Fahrenheit, and that will cook on a piece of baking paper for about 8 to 10 minutes, yeah? And you could make your lovely crispy salmon skin as well. So do not throw that away. That stuff is absolutely gold. So I'm going to I'll put it right there with the rest of the salmon. But now we have this wonderful piece of salmon, skin gone. You can see I've actually done a really pretty decent job of taking the skin off. There's no bones in there. All we need to do now is to poke it, which means to chop it. So you want to chop your fish into bite-sized portions. That's really important, because you don't want it to be too big, because it needs to go onto the end of a fork, or it needs to be on the end of chopsticks if you're able to use chopsticks, which means you want to have a piece around about that size, yeah? That's about the size, bite-sized pieces. They're then going to go into a bowl, and I have the most gorgeous bowls here in my little gorgeous cottage. Look at these gorgeous bowls, aren't they stunning? So we're going to put our poke into the bowls there. Always remember that when it comes to poke, you want bite-sized pieces, nothing too small, nothing too big as well. It's really, really important that they are bite-sized pieces. So it's easy to do that. Bite-sized pieces, once the skin's removed, once the bones are removed as well, it's only then up to you to just go through and to chop it up, just like that. Right, happy, happy, happy. It is smelling real good too. Gorgeous. Oh, here's one more piece. Let's do that as well. And just to show you again how I remove the skin there. So I took the piece of salmon. I then took off just the end, yeah? I'm only cutting down to the skin and then just kind of swishing it along. So I've got this piece here that's got no skin attached. We'll chop that up, because that can go into the bowl. And then holding up that little piece of skin there that I chopped off, holding up that little piece of skin, I'm then going to take my knife, hold it almost parallel to the board. It's basically running along the chopping board. Yeah? Skin's there. Skin can go into the air fryer later, and I'm just left with that wonderful bit of salmon fillet. Always get it with skin, because then you can make chips. Happy, happy, happy days. Alright, so remember, bite-sized pieces of our salmon. If you find that your salmon's got a really dark bit on it, like really, really dark under there where you remove the skin, that's the bloodline, and I would just suggest you trim that down. You can see my one is not very dark at all. I'm quite happy to leave that on. The reason why we remove the bloodline is that sometimes it can be a little bit bitter. The bloodline is quite bitter, especially, so I'm just shooing away there's one fly in my little Hawaiian kitchen today, one little fly. The bloodline can be quite bitter, especially so if you're using tuna or ahi tuna. you'll find that that bloodline can be really bitter, and you just want to trim that off as well. So we've got our salmon there. No dark bloodline, which is good. Looks like this in our bowl. Now what we need to think about doing is the marination that goes on this. So the marination is so incredibly simple. Like, it is ridiculously simple how easy it is for you guys to do. It only requires a couple of different ingredients to marinate it, and this will be the marinade that you will find in any poke bar or poke restaurant or poke cafe that you ever go to. It is the same type of marinade. It takes literally 2 ingredients, and those 2 ingredients, very easy to find. One of them happens to be my absolute favorite. I know it's backwards, but that is my tamari there, you can see. So it's, I know it's backwards, tamari light, which means it has low sodium. Tamari is the gluten-free version of a soy sauce. So we want to add in here, using my little measurement tablespoon, I'm going to be adding in, to start with, 3 tablespoons. And I reckon if we would look at the fish is around about 500 grams of fish I've got in there, maybe about 400. And to that I'm adding 3 tablespoons of low sodium tamari. Give it a little bit of a stir. I might need some more later. I'm just going to be playing around with the look of it as I go. And now that I've got that 3 tablespoons of my low sodium tamari, I'm then going to just finish it off with a little bit of pure sesame oil. Sorry, that fly is driving me nuts. I'm going, hey, there's a fly. He doesn't know what to do with a fly. All right, so 3 tablespoons of my low sodium tamari, and then I'm going to put in a tablespoon of the purest sesame oil that your money can buy. It's going to make such a major difference if you have a really good pure sesame oil as opposed to an average sesame oil. So I'm looking at the amount of fish there, and I'm making sure that the fish is well moistened in that little gorgeous marinade. I could probably do with another tablespoon of that going in. If you're wondering about the quantities, guess what? I've done this recipe before. Guess where I've done it? Ta-da! It's actually in this book here. I know, right? If you're wanting the quantities to this is in More from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. And the reason why it's in More from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen is because I've loved Hawaii for as long as I can remember, and I love Hawaiian food, and I love everything that happens with this beautiful island. So I have lots of recipes that are my memory of my time here in Hawaii. Poke is just one of them. So it is in there. So I put in an extra tablespoon, which means I want to put in about 1/3 of a tablespoon of sesame oil. Give that a bit of a mix. I'm finding that the moisture there is looking really, really good, looking really delicious. All that's left for me to do now is to marinate. Leave that to marinate in the fridge for 30 minutes. That's all you need to do. It is basically going to be ready after 30 minutes. So I'm just going to pop that in the fridge here. We're going to finish off the ingredients and what we need for our healthy poke bowl. Because traditionally, poke is served, or poke bowl is served on white rice. And you guys know that's not so great. That's not something we want to be putting into our diet every single day. So I'm going to do an alternative to white rice. I'm going to make it very flavoursome, because white rice, let's also agree, can we please agree that white rice tastes kind of boring? It's just rice. It's what you put on it that makes it exciting. And so I'm going to remove the white rice from this poke bowl, and I'm going to be adding in vegetable type of rice. And I've got 2 types of vegetable rice. It's up to you what you decide to do, you decide. But what I'm doing today is in this bowl here, already blended into rice. I actually have cauliflower there at the front, and I have broccoli. So you could do a broccoli or a cauliflower rice, or you could do a combination of the 2, which is what I have here. But you don't have to stop there. Any vegetable that you can turn into rice can become the base of your poke bowl, because they're obviously vegetables and they're really good for us. So I'm using that. It's up to you, and you know how to make vegetable rice yeah, whether it be cauliflower or broccoli, or well, I haven't got it here. You could do it with sweet potato. You could do it with so many different varieties of vegetables. Carrots could be done, zucchini could be done as well. Any sort of vegetable can be turned into rice. All I did was I stuck my cauliflower and my broccoli into a blender, and I blended it up to it look like that. Literally look like that. It takes a couple of seconds of pulsing it. And now that it's at this stage, and it's in a bowl, I'm just going to pop it into the microwave for a couple of minutes just to cook through, because it kind of steams it through. So over to the microwave it goes. I'm going to be putting that big bowl, because it's quite a big bowl. I've got that cooking on high speed for 2.5 minutes, because it's a really, really big bowl. I don't want to overcook as well. I don't want it to be mushy, but at the same time, I don't want to undercook it, because I still want it to be lovely and tender. So 2.5 minutes for that really, really big bowl is going to be a great little base for our marinating poke there in the fridge. What else do we put with poke? In my recipe in the cookbook, and more from Bridget, and it's on page 69, if you were wondering. More from Bridget's healthy kitchen. The poke that I have there, which is the salmon poke, I have served it on cabbage. I'm teaching you guys today a new way that you can think about serving your poke, which is a bit more traditional to how they serve it here in the islands. And poke is very much, I suppose, a lunch staple, and so it is served with something that's a little bit more filling, which would normally be, well, white rice isn't that filling, but it's quite, you know, it does fill you for a certain amount of time. Now we're filling it with a vegetable rice, which means you're going to stay fuller for a longer time. It's low carb, and of course it's really, really good for you. But we can also think about putting other things with this poke, because that's the base. The idea about poke is you start to incorporate all these wonderful flavors into it that you want to incorporate into it. So what I'm going to show you guys here is these different little flavor profiles that you can consider putting with your poke bowl. So even if you were just to do a cauliflower or a broccoli rice with the marinated salmon or tuna, amazing. But now you can start to really think outside the square a little bit and think about what you've got in your fridge and what would maybe taste quite delicious with this particular style of dish, because fish is quite oily. The rice or the cauliflower rice or broccoli is kind of, it's not a big flavor. It's kind of a vehicle to apply flavors. It's up to you now to make it your own. So what I have in here is something very, very familiar to the islands, and this is called limu or seaweed. So I have different types of seaweed that I'm going to be putting into it. Now you may not be able to get this type of seaweed, which is the limu, which is absolutely fine, because there are seaweeds I know you guys can get. Oh, there we go, the microwave's finished. I know you guys can get, which are really, really delicious, which then you can add in. Whoa, and it's very, very hot. Whew, hot. You can add into your poke bowl to make it this kind of authentic Hawaiian style poke. So this limu, I bought this, as I was saying, from the market this morning, and it is fresh, which means I can do that, which is really exciting. It tastes like the ocean, like literally you'd think you're swimming in the ocean eating that. So you can add fresh seaweed, of course you can. If you don't have access to fresh seaweed, you can also do stuff like this. So in this little bowl here, I have a collection of different pickles and seaweed. So this is wakame. You guys all know wakame, right? That is wakame. So good. I have a little gherkin pickle there. I have a little daikon radish pickle there, and I also have some pickled onions there. So there's nothing stopping you from adding different types of pickles. You know that I have so many different types of pickles that I promote with my recipes. You can add any of those pickles, whether it be pickled vegetables, pickled onions, pickled cucumbers. All of this can go into poke. Of course, wakame as well, where it be dried and then you just rehydrate it back to life in a little bit of water, and it ends up looking like this. This is wonderful. You can add wakame. I have also here, which I'm super excited about, one of the first things I do looks like that, and I just went like this. Because one of the first things I do when I arrive in any country is I make pickles. So I made my own red onion pickles. Gorgeous, look at that. My little red onion pickles are there. They can go in there as well. And the last thing I want you guys to think about when it comes to making this gorgeous poke bowl is some of this little ingredient I have in there. Now this is called flying fish roe. So these are fish eggs. Now fish eggs, before you go, ew, I'm not doing that, shush, try it before you go, ew. Fish eggs are, look at those, they are so packed with flavor. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm gonna cry. They are so packed with flavor. They are so packed with omega-3s. Now remember what omega-3s are good for? They're good for your brain health. So this is literally brain health on the end of a spoon that tastes phenomenal. And this particular version I'm using here, it's called, like I said, it's called flying fish roe. So flying fish, these are their eggs. You can get salmon really easily available. You can also get lumpfish, caviar it's called, which is also really available. Just remember, when you're looking at something like this, it is packed full of flavor, so it's just phenomenal just to be able to do that. But also, it is packed full of the essential amino acids, which are really, really, really good for looking after your brain. So it tastes good, and it's going to work so well on our poke, like so incredibly well, and it's really good for our brain. I'm like winning on every single count, I'm winning. So these are the ingredients that I've got there that we're going to start to put into our poke bowl. So I thought I'll put my poke in this gorgeous little bowl here today because it's just stunning. We're going to start off with a base of our cauliflower and broccoli rice. Now remember, you could do exactly the same thing with sweet potato. You could do exactly the same thing with swede or rutabagas. You could also do exactly the same thing with carrot, with zucchini. It's up to you what vegetable you choose to use. Like if you want to go quite traditional, you might just go cauliflower because it's white, and a poke bowl is normally served on white rice. But I just think there's so much more flavor now that I've added that little bit of broccoli through there. You guys already know that this is going to be good. And what I'm doing now, because it's been in the microwave, I'm just allowing the steam to escape because I don't want it to overcook. And so now I've got my base to my cauli and my broccoli there. I'm going to add a little bit of seasoning to it. And the seasoning that I'm using is actually this wonderful seasoning that I found, which is a Hawaiian style seasoning. So there's lots of gorgeous things in there. Let's have a look at the ingredients label. There is so sea salt, of course, cracked pepper, ginger and garlic, and a special type of seaweed salt as well. That's all we've got in there. So a little bit of seasoning. If you've just got normal salt, that's fine. You don't have to have this lovely Ono Hawaiian seasoning. You could just use normal salt. We want to make sure that we give the base to our poke some flavor. It's really, really important. And the best way to do that is just with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, or in my case, a little bit of my Ono Hawaiian seasoning goes in there. So that our base to our poke is now ready to go. And I wish that more poke places actually gave you this option as a base. How good would that be? How good would that be? So let's pile that into our bowl that we're going to serve from. And remember that you don't want to be eating just all seafood or all fish or all meat. It's actually the vegetables that are going to help you to stay full. It's the vegetables that are going to give you all those amazing nutrients and minerals and macronutrients. So pile this high, and don't be afraid to pile this high in your bowl. Beautiful. Looking gorgeous. Alright, put that there. The next thing I want to think about is that gorgeous bit of marinated poke that we have in the fridge. So that's our base. So I can just move that off to the side. Because imagine it was 30 minutes past, and my poke, my gorgeous poke, is now marinated for 30 minutes. You don't have to do it any more than that. In fact, 30 minutes is the optimum time. If you leave it too long, it gets too over marinated. So 30 minutes is ideal. So giving a bit of a stir, I'm now going to start to add in some flavors. So the flavor I'm going to add, once again, I'm going to go back to my seasoning, whether it be salt and pepper or, you know, some sort of a seasoning mix that I have here. That's going to go on. I'm also going to grab up my little ingredients in there, and the main one I'm going for here is actually the wakame, because that's a very traditional flavor to add to your poke, is wakame. And you guys know that wakame is basically small pieces of seaweed, dried seaweed. And already, look, we're getting a little bit of a transfer of color there. A bit more of that can go in. And as well as that, I also have that fresh seaweed there, which is the limu, which I'm going to add into it as well. You obviously don't have to add the limu, just add your wakame. Same. This just makes it feel even more traditional, which is wonderful. And if you are in the Hawaiian Islands and you're looking to create something like this, and if you get a little Airbnb like I have, you know, you go to the markets, one of the Japanese markets, and you can buy fresh seaweed. And it's amazing. And then you can do that. And it's just like, gosh, why don't we have fresh seaweed in, you know, Australia and New Zealand? Because we've definitely got lots of ocean, especially in New Zealand. Not sure why we don't have it. You can see the little colour change we've gotten from the seaweed. I'm going to add a little bit more of that limu. And so this limu here, when I bought it at the market, that amount cost me 35 cents because they weigh it by the kilo and it doesn't weigh much. So you can get a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to limu. And even if you're making like a chicken wakame soup, add some of this fresh limu to it, and my gosh, you've just added iodine, one of the most amazing flavors to your soup, as well as adding it into your poke like I'm doing here. So that just goes through. Now you could literally stop there and that would be sensational. But, oh, hi Mahi, everyone says hi. But, oh my god, that's so good. That is so delicious. But you know what? You could, like I say, you could literally stop there, and that would be a very traditional poke with wakame. And we could just pile it onto our business here. But what I'm going to do, just because I've got all this lovely flying fish roe, is I'm going to take a bit of that, and I'm just going to stir it through, because why wouldn't you? The flavour there is just phenomenal. And already the smell that's coming off this is just gorgeous, and we've just added another flavor profile or another little excitement to it. So when I bite into that piece there, I'm getting these little, and the thing about sea eggs is they kind of explode in your mouth. So I'm getting these lovely little explosions of flavor from this little flying fish roe, or you could do salmon roe or something like that, and it's just gorgeous. I'm going to add one more in because that was really yum. And I've just added all that brain food too. So that is the base to our poke. Well, that's the base and that's top. So I've got my rice there. All we need to do now is to make this wonderful pile of our poke on top of our rice. You've just got so much goodness here. Kind of freaks me out a little bit because I know it's going to be so delicious. Oh, I need to eat that piece that fell off. Sorry. Can you tell I'm hungry? I'm eating everything inside. Alright, so once we're at that point and everything's looking really gorgeous, I'm then just going to finish it off. And it's up to you how you finish it off, but I like to finish it off in a little bit of style. So for me, a little bit of style means we're going to add some more of that gorgeous flying fish roe to the top. I'm going to go back to my pickles that are here. I'm going to add some, it's like a little bit of pickled onions going to go on around it. I've also got some pickled gherkin, which is going to be gorgeous. All these pickles I bought in the market this morning. A little bit of pickled daikon, made sure they were sugar free of course. In my little jar here, remember that? I have my own special pickled onions. And why wouldn't you just want to add a little bit of pickled onion to the top of your poke bowl? I know, right? So gorgeous. A little bit of my seasoning goes on here. But I just want to finish it off with a top note. Because all these notes here, they're kind of, there's a lot of fermentation going on. There's a lot of pickling going on there. The broccoli and cauliflower rice is a little bit heavier. The poke itself is seaweed flavors. I think there's just one more flavor that will just kind of set this whole dish on absolute fire. And that particular one flavour, give me a second while I go to my fridge. You recognise what I could potentially have in this, right? This is my little tea towel, my little dampened tea towel. And in here, close the fridge, Bridget, close the fridge. In here, I have some fresh herbs that I bought at the market this morning. And I have this amazing Thai basil. Look how green and gorgeous that is. And I have a little bit of cilantro, coriander. So I think how we're going to really finish this dish off and make it just extra special and delicious and amazing, even though it already is, but we just want to finish it off, is we're going to finish it off with a few of these fresh herbs. Just picking the herbs off the top, which means I'm able to kind of do that, and we've got some color happening there. Oh my goodness, check that out. So there you have it. This is my extremely healthy, extremely accessible, extremely simple, you saw how easy it is to make, poke bowl, straight from the islands of Hawaii. The rice is still warm, so you get this wonderful combination of hot and cold flavors happening here. The most incredible sensations as well from our pickles and our wakame and our flying fish roe, and even my pickled onions there. It looks sensational. Not sure about you guys, but I'm a little bit excited about this. Let me just show you. It's pretty good, right? So that is dish number one, coming to you live from my little Hawaiian kitchen. Tomorrow we'll be doing a very special dish, which is my garlic shrimp dish. I'm coming to you live tomorrow from my little Hawaiian kitchen. Please join me. Thank you for joining me today. I've got a husband who may want to eat that right about now. I reckon he will. But anyway, I'm going to see you guys. Hopefully it's a nice day tomorrow so I can take it onto the beach first. But we'll see what happens. If it's too windy, we'll just be back in here in my little Hawaiian kitchen. Alright guys, thank you for joining me today. It's been so good to see you. I've missed you so much. Thank you for joining me today. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow in Bridget's little Hawaiian kitchen. Take care guys. Bye bye.